A slow pan of a foggy, dimly lit graveyard. Tombstones stand like crooked teeth, casting long, menacing shadows in the moonlight. The wind whispers through the trees, sounding like the mournful cries of souls unable to find peace. Are you ready to explore the places where the living dare not tread? Join us as we uncover the chilling tales of the most haunted locations around the world. Places where history and horror collide, and where the veil between our world and the next wears terrifyingly thin. We're going deep into the heart of darkness, to confront the unknown and stare the supernatural in the face. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and prepare to be terrified. Our journey into the abyss of the paranormal begins at the Tower of London. A fortress steeped in centuries of bloodshed and despair. Kings have been crowned here, prisoners tortured, and lives brutally extinguished within these very walls. The tower stands as a silent sentinel, its stone walls echoing with the anguished cries of its past residents. One of the most enduring tales is that of Anne Boleyn, the ill-fated queen of King Henry VIII. Beheaded in 1536 on charges of treason, adultery, and incest, her spirit is said to roam the grounds, forever searching for justice or perhaps for her lost head. Visitors and guards alike have reported seeing her spectral form gliding through the halls, her presence marked by a chilling cold and an overwhelming sense of dread. Then there's the chilling tale of the two young princes, Edward and Richard, sons of King Edward IV. Imprisoned in the tower and declared illegitimate, they vanished without a trace, their fate a mystery that has haunted historians for centuries. Some believe they were murdered on the orders of their uncle, Richard III, their innocent souls forever bound to the site of their demise. People have claimed to hear the echoes of children's laughter echoing through the stone corridors, a haunting reminder of the tragedy that unfolded within these walls. But it's not just visual apparitions that plague the tower. Unexplained temperature drops, disembodied whispers, and the overwhelming feeling of being watched have all been reported. The energy here is palpable. A heavy, oppressive presence that seems to seep into your very bones. Some believe these occurrences are residual energy, imprints left behind by the intense emotional suffering that permeates the tower's history. Others believe they are conscious entities, spirits trapped between worlds, unable to escape the sight of their torment. Whatever the explanation may be, one thing is for sure. The Tower of London is a place where the veil between our world and the next is thin, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. As we delve deeper into the unknown, remember, not all who wander are lost. Some are trapped, forever bound to the places where their stories met a tragic end. Nestled high in the majestic Rocky Mountains of Colorado, the Stanley Hotel stands as a beacon of Victorian elegance and a magnet for paranormal activity. Built in 1909, this grand hotel has played host to countless guests over the years, but some it seems have never checked out. Their spirits linger, their energy woven into the very fabric of the building, transforming this opulent retreat into a hotbed of spectral encounters. Perhaps the most famous resident of the Stanley is Room 217, made infamous by Stephen King, who found inspiration for his chilling novel, The Shining, within these very walls. It's said that the room is haunted by the spirit of a former housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson, who tragically died in the room after a freak accident. Guests have reported luggage mysteriously unpacking itself, lights flickering on and off, and disembodied voices whispering their names in the dead of night. But the paranormal activity isn't confined to Room 217. The hotel's grand ballroom is said to be a hub of spectral activity. Guests and staff have reported seeing ghostly figures dancing in the moonlight, their laughter echoing through the empty halls long after the music has stopped. Some have even claimed to hear phantom piano music, the keys seemingly playing themselves, filling the air with an eerie melody. The fourth floor in particular seems to be a hotbed of paranormal activity, with children's laughter frequently heard echoing down the hallways and apparitions of children darting about. Some believe these are the spirits of children who succumbed to illness during a time when the hotel served as a makeshift hospital. Our team decided to investigate the Stanley Hotel, and let me tell you, the energy there was palpable. We set up our equipment, including EMF readers, digital recorders, and infrared cameras, hoping to capture evidence of the paranormal activity that has plagued this grand hotel for decades. And let me tell you, we were not disappointed. As we moved through the hotel, we experienced unexplained temperature fluctuations, heard disembodied voices, and even captured what appeared to be shadow figures moving in the darkness. It was a spine-chilling experience that left us in no doubt that the Stanley Hotel is truly one of the most haunted places in America. As we leave the chilling heights of the Rockies, our journey takes us deeper into the American South, to a place steeped in history and shrouded in tragedy, the Myrtles Plantation. Prepare yourself, for the darkness only deepens from here. The humid air hangs heavy with the scent of magnolia and the weight of untold secrets as we arrive at the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. This antebellum mansion, with its sprawling grounds and haunting beauty, holds within its walls a dark and troubled past, one that seeps into the present, manifesting in chilling paranormal activity that has intrigued and terrified visitors for generations. Built in 1796 on a site believed to be cursed by Native American tribes, the Myrtles Plantation has been witness to countless tragedies, each one leaving an indelible mark on the property. The most infamous tale is that of Chloe, a slave who, legend has it, poisoned a birthday cake in revenge for mistreatment. Her spirit is said to roam the grounds, her image captured in countless photographs, a haunting specter forever bound to the site of her suffering. But Chloe's spirit is not alone. Guests and staff have reported seeing a young girl in a pink dress peering out from the windows, her laughter echoing through the halls, a chilling reminder of the children who met untimely ends within these walls. Some have even encountered the apparition of a former owner, Judge Clark Woodruff, who was shot dead on the porch, his murder remaining unsolved to this day. The Myrtles Plantation is a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems to dissipate, where the echoes of tragedy linger in every shadow and whisper on the wind. As we explored the grounds, we could feel the weight of the past pressing down on us, the air thick with the energy of those who lived and died here. We spoke with witnesses who shared their bone-chilling encounters. A housekeeper who claimed to have seen Chloe's reflection in a mirror, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. A guest who woke in the middle of the night to find a young girl in a pink dress standing at the foot of their bed, her tiny hand reaching out as if beckoning them to play. Each story sent shivers down our spines, reinforcing the belief that the Myrtles Plantation is truly a place where the past refuses to die. As we leave the oppressive humidity and unsettling energy of the plantation behind, we journey to a city beneath a city, a labyrinth of the dead where shadows dance and secrets lie buried, the Catacombs of Paris. Brace yourselves, for we are about to descend into the belly of the earth, into the heart of darkness. Beneath the bustling streets of Paris, a city of the dead sprawls for miles, a subterranean labyrinth where the bones of millions lie stacked high, a silent testament to the impermanence of life. The Catacombs of Paris, a network of old quarries transformed into an ossuary in the late 18th century, hold the skeletal remains of over 6 million Parisians, their final resting place a chilling reminder of our own mortality. As we descended into the cool, damp darkness, the air thick with the scent of dust and decay, a palpable sense of unease settled over us. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of our own footsteps echoing through the endless tunnels. Skulls stared back at us with empty sockets, their anonymity a chilling reminder of the vastness of death. The catacombs were never intended to be a tourist attraction. They served as a practical solution to the overflowing cemeteries of Paris, a place to inter the dead when the city above could no longer accommodate them. But over time, the catacombs have taken on a life of their own, becoming a source of fascination and fear, a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems to dissipate. There are stories of catacombs workers hearing whispers and footsteps in the darkness, of feeling cold spots and sensing unseen presences. Some have even reported seeing shadowy figures lurking at the edge of their vision, vanishing into the darkness as quickly as they appeared. One of the most well-known tales is that of the gatekeeper of the catacombs, a shadowy figure said to guard the entrance to a secret section of the tunnels. Legend has it that he appears to those who dare to enter the catacombs alone at night, his presence a harbinger of misfortune. We ventured deeper into the labyrinth, our headlamps casting flickering beams of light that danced across the bones, creating eerie shadows that seemed to writhe and contort before our eyes. The air grew colder, and we could feel a distinct shift in energy, a heaviness that pressed down on us like a physical weight. We were not alone down here. We could feel it in our bones, in the very marrow that vibrated with an ancient energy, a resonance of the millions of souls who found their final resting place in this subterranean city of the dead. As we emerged from the depths, back into the bustling streets of Paris, we couldn't shake the feeling that we had brought something back with us, a piece of the darkness clinging to our souls. Our final destination takes us to the foothills of Mount Fuji in Japan, to a place shrouded in myth, mystery, and a palpable sense of dread, Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. This dense ancient woodland with its gnarled trees and eerie silence has long been associated with death and despair, a place where shadows linger and spirits are said to roam freely. A sense of foreboding washed over us as we entered the forest, the air thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy of trees, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to move and contort as we walked deeper into the woods. Aokigahara has a long and tragic history. In Japanese mythology, it is said to be a place where demons dwell, a gateway to the underworld. Over the centuries, it has become a place where people come to end their lives, drawn to its isolation and the promise of a final escape from their pain. The ground beneath our feet was soft and uneven, littered with fallen branches and decaying leaves. We could hear the sound of our own breath, heavy and labored in the stillness of the forest. The silence was broken only by the occasional cry of a bird or the rustling of leaves in the wind, each sound magnified, taking on a sinister quality in this unsettling environment. As we ventured deeper into the forest, we came across personal belongings scattered amongst the trees, backpacks, shoes, articles of clothing, remnants of lives tragically cut short. The silence seemed to press in on us, amplifying the feeling of isolation and despair that permeated this place. There are countless stories of hikers getting lost in the forest, their compasses rendered useless by the magnetic anomalies said to exist within its boundaries. Some believe that the spirits of those who died in Aokigahara linger, their energy trapped within the trees, their sorrow and despair clinging to the very air we breathed. We spoke with local guides who told us of strange encounters within the forest, disembodied voices whispering from the trees, shadowy figures darting through the undergrowth, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched, of not being alone. Aokigahara Forest is a place where life and death intersect, where the boundary between our world and the next seems to blur. It is a place of immense beauty and profound sadness, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of despair. Have these stories sent shivers down your spine? Remember, these tales are from the darkest corners of our world, places where history and horror collide, and where the veil between the living and the dead wears thin. The unknown can be terrifying, but it can also be a source of endless fascination. We've explored the haunted halls of the Tower of London, felt the icy breath of spirits in the grand halls of the Stanley Hotel, and walked amongst the restless dead in the chilling depths of the Catacombs of Paris. We've confronted the tragic history of the Myrtles plantation and felt the despair clinging to the trees of Aokigahara Forest. These stories serve as a reminder that while we may seek to understand the supernatural, some mysteries are beyond our comprehension. Sleep tight and don't let the ghosts bite.